It's mid-July, and that means it's time for our July garden tour. But if you're looking for one of those gardens that's done just right, where all the projects are finished and everything is perfect, you might want to just hit the back button, because I promise you this is a real garden with real problems and real harvest too. So let's go take a look at what's growing on. Last week, a friend of mine came by, and instead of apologizing for the state of things, I have finally learned to embrace it. I said, welcome to the land of 10,000 projects, because that's what it feels like around here. We're going to start with this project I have right up here in the front, which is resetting this to being all comfrey. I'm actually going to move the mulch and put down weed cloth, and I'll be growing my fertilizer here with the comfrey. Now, if you've been on a tour before, you may notice there is something definitely missing right here. This is where the lemongrass was, and I'll have a video coming out about that. I may even put a couple of shots in here, but I always planted lemongrass here. You can see how wet that is back there. That's because this is a drain from our hot water tank. We have a hybrid hot water tank, and so this is a perfect place for lemongrass to grow. But I've got one more comfrey to take out, and then this will I'll clean out the mulch, sift it, and then put fabric down and use as much of this mulch, or reuse as much of this mulch on top as I can. But I'm excited about that project. Our bananas, I was actually able to get a few cut out. I still have more to do, but they're looking beautiful. And believe it or not, while it's small, we do have a hand or two of bananas right over there. Get in close, let's see if we can see those. Yep. And I don't see any more popping out yet, but one of the challenges is that I have too many banana plants. And so the mamas are busy making more bananas, plants that is, than producing fruit. And so their babies are also their offspring. And so they are not fruiting, probably because of that. And I have been warned, and I'm working on it. But meantime, we've been taking advantage of the banana leaves. And so those can be used in cooking for wrapping and steaming. And while we haven't done it, we've taken it to Mrs. Michelle's friends, and they are using them to cook with. Next, these sweet potatoes are looking mighty good over here. I don't have the count on the number of days. I put these in, I think, in mid-April. So May, June, July, maybe we're getting close to 90 days. So I might, in a week or two, start pulling some up from that area just to see what we have underneath. I'm using a garden grid in there, and so they've been getting consistent watering throughout the garden season. I just ran into a little snake friend in another bed, so I'm a little more cautious this morning about sticking my hands in places I can't see. See that garden grid down in there, those black cross pipes? So excited about that. It has been going with the flow around here. We went from peppers to figs, and now beans are coming in hot. And this is funny, I am recording this on a Sunday morning. On Friday night, there were no visible beans inside except for the ones that we were drying. And so I will say one thing about this trellis, that while I love it from one perspective, I've made mistakes again, like I should have never planted okra underneath here. It doesn't get enough sun. And then the okra is going to grow up and be through that, because okra wants to be like 10 and 12 feet tall. So that was a goof, but I got it in the ground. But we've been eating lots of beans. The other challenge with this is that I can't get to the beans that are growing on top and aren't falling through. I lowered this so that I could reach it from the ground, but now the problem is I can't stand up straight on top of the centerpiece I have there in order to reach my hand through. So it's a problem, but it's not unsolvable. The thing I worry about, maybe you all know, maybe you can tell me, I always thought, I know with like pepper plants and some of the other plants, once you let something go to seed, like this is all the way to seed now, and we're letting it dry, and actually I need to take that in the house and dry. Does it cause the vine to stop producing beans? And so if you guys know that, would you put that down in the comments for me, please? Now, also in this bed, we're growing onions, and these are from saved seeds from where our onions are over on the patio. My neighbor brought honeydew for the compost bin, and I threw the seeds in here, and this one has just taken off, and it's going on up the trellis. We've got tomatillo in here. There should be 2 of them. One tomatillo over there. Another tomatillo right here, because we need 2 tomatillos. And then of course we have okra in the back over there. I just had a wood stork fly over my head, but I don't think I can turn fast enough to catch him. Nope, there he goes. I don't want to jerk the camera around, but that was kind of cool. But impressively, well, it looks like maybe something's trying to eat the honeydew, but this is all honeydew, and that's a grocery store honeydew. So, you know, you can always try. You can always try and find out. Oh, our first tomatillo blossom right there. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, more honeydew over here too. Now, what is funny to me is I got the seeds as I was putting stuff in compost, and I just threw them in there. And I don't even know if I came back and watered them, and they are thriving. I mean, I have water in this bed, but they're thriving. But the cantaloupe that I've planted on the other side, the watermelon I planted on the other side, the watermelon I've intentionally planted over here from seed, none of those look great. Now, granted, those seeds are older, so maybe that's part of it. They grew, but they just don't look that great. This went in, this honeydew here is at least a month after I put in my watermelon, and I'll show you the watermelon over here. This is the little watermelon vine right here. And so that's all that it's gotten to right in this little bit here. So let me back up though, because the loofah, y'all remember what was the plant that said "Feed me, Seymour" from Little Shop of Horrors? So that is what our loofah is. We tried it in this bed this season just to do something different. Over here we have roselle, also called Asian sour leaf, ridiculously closely planted to okra, and they are in the same family, but it is definitely shading out the okra too. And I can see the loofah's making its way over here. The loofah's trying to jump the fence again. Look at that. You see it over there. Oh man. But loofah is very aggressive, but you get a lot of fruit and a lot of food off of it, and a lot of sponges. You can eat the loofah young. It's delicious in soups. We scramble it up with our scrambled eggs. Looks like I've got a bell pepper under here that I forgot all about, and a tomato plant that are getting shaded out by everything else. And of course the vine borers have had their way with my squash, but this one is still, oh no, that's the loofah. I thought the squash was still trying. No, the squash is done. That's all loofah all the way out here. The loofah, something else, and I've heard that it is all squash plants. I always recommend you do your own research, but squash plants are completely edible. The vines, the leaves, and obviously the fruit that grows on them. And so I have harvested about this much of the vine. Once it starts getting in here, it's pretty, it gets a little more woody and not as tasty. And I stir fried this up in the wok just with some other seasonings that I already had in there, and we really liked it a lot. And so I see eating more of this. The other thing we did, and I didn't make a video about it because I wanted to test and taste it first, is I took hand size leaves, so about that size right there, and I made a stuffing like you might make with a grape leaf. And so I just happen to use the kind that I know to use, the kind that I know to use for making stuffed bell peppers. And I made something similar to that. And then we rolled them up in loofah leaves and tried the air fryer. We tried the wok. I liked the one in the wok better because it really helped get the fuzzies off of the leaves. The leaves have a little bit of texture to them, and so I liked the frying in the wok better. And it wasn't really deep oil, just a little bit, just enough to get a little sizzle to it. But I wrapped them raw, and I made the mix raw, stuffed it, and then fried them. It didn't take very long at all because I made thin, and Mrs. Michelle said I should have made them even thinner, and so I will try that again because we really liked it and it was a big hit. So I did the air fryer, and it just sort of wilted the leaves. It didn't give it that crispiness that is kind of fun when you're eating something like that. And I know it's different. I think the grape leaves are steamed maybe, but just in the wok was really good. And if you don't have a wok, it's just a pan with oil in it, right? That's just happened to be what I use. So don't say, I don't have a wok, so I can't try that. Do you have a pan? Do you have a stove? Do you have a way to get heat? Do you have some oil? You can try it. So this is also now my little respite that I share with the spider. And so sometimes when I just need to get out of the heat, I just come and sit in my chair and relax. Let me show y'all how nice it is under here. Hopefully I don't take a spider out with my face today, a spider web out. I keep having to cut this back because I can't get in and out of here. But how about that? How about that for a view with a whole bunch of shade? Even right now, I would bet it's 3 or 4 degrees cooler under here than I was out there. And so I kind of like this in here. I can come out here and hide. You know, I can look up. I don't have any loofah yet. We're starting to see flowers. We haven't actually had any loofah. So eating the leaves is a great way to keep the plant trimmed and pruned, which just encourages more growth. And I get some food while I'm waiting for my food. My trombosino is right here, and the vine leaf borers got that. I had another one here. Let's see if it's still making its way up. Looks like the vine leaf borers may have gotten that too. Lucky me. Yep. So follow that up. Nope, that's Lofah. I still have a leaf here, but I am not holding out hope because it's had a tough time. Though that might be a trombosino flower right there. That does not look like a Lofah flower. So that's a oh, I do have something. That's a trombosino flower, a male flower. So interestingly enough, if you're looking for a vine borer resistant squash variety, I have never had a vine borer, ever. Nothing. I mean, some things get on the leaves, leaf miners and stuff like that, but I have never, ever, ever lost a Lofah plant to insects. And so if you're somewhere where the pressure is just high, you might learn to like Lofah. And it is a more melony, it's more on the melony side, melon-y side, so a little softer. Whereas like a honeydew from a texture standpoint, when a honey or a cantaloupe, a little more like that than a squash, which, you know, like a yellow squash or zucchini is a little more pithy and has a little more, oddly enough, has more fiber when it's smaller than the Lofah does. And the Lofah, I guess, doesn't really get its fiber until it gets much bigger. And so I like cutting the Lofah and eating it when it is about 6 to 8 inches small. I don't care. The more you pick, the more you get. I tried one year to let it grow as long as I could to maximize my harvest. I did not maximize my harvest. I learned a lot. Up to about 18 inches is still edible, but it's not delicious. And honestly, I could have had probably 10 8-inch pieces of Lofah, which would have been double the harvest in the same amount of time I waited for that one to get big enough to just see how it would be. But it was an experiment, and I shared with you guys, and we're just all here learning. So let's carry on with the tour. All right, so we already talked about our little watermelon over here. Let's peek and see if we have another female flower on. We had one, it didn't get pollinated. I've been trying to send it over to the vine, to the thing there. No, but we have some male flowers on, so that's good. A little bit coming this way too. One squash plant left. I've managed to harvest 3 squash, 3 yellow squash, no zucchini. The vine borers just ate me alive, even with everything I tried to do. But I did not ever get the foil put on these. But I do see one female flower back there that doesn't look very good. Actually 2. That one might be okay. And more roselle and okra back there. Same problem. Well, the roselle seems to be reaching its way to the sky, but not a whole lot of sun in the afternoon, which may be better. Now this, if you saw this over my shoulder, is all the lemongrass I pulled out this morning. This is my first big project since having my knee surgery, and I don't think I told you all this. I don't think I actually talked about this on our live last time, but I also pulled a disc in my back or whatever, so it's not ruptured or anything like that. So I'm supposed to be taking it easy. So I went as easy as I could and did this, but it felt really good to accomplish something because, you know, I'm tired of sitting around. I'm ready to get things done. You know, I'd like this to be the land of 9,997 projects instead of the land of 10,000 projects. So one thing at a time. Excuse me, I got a bug right there. So we're getting there though. We're getting there. Over here is Propagation Nation. Well, I like that. I think I'm going to call this that from now on. That was just off the cuff. So Propagation Nation here. These need to be potted up. They're starting to turn a little bit. They need some fertilizer. Thai chili peppers, eggplant, more Thai eggplant, different styles of Asian eggplant. So Vietnamese, and it didn't pop up at all, so I'm gonna have to check on that. A purple Thai eggplant, we only had one that popped up. Pet Siam from Johnny's, only one that popped up. Now, it also may be that it has just been too dang hot. This was an old one I had, and it was overseeded. And so when it says old and overseeded, this might be either one that I bought or I may have collected it. I'm not sure, I don't remember which. If I collected it, that's a pretty good sign. That saving your own seed is pretty good too. So, and then the green tiger eggplant from Lao came up, but these others have not. And so, interesting. That's a 0%. And actually, no, these were new. I just purchased these. These two I just purchased. These three I just purchased. These four. So these are all new. So 0% propagation or germination doesn't make me happy. Also have some walking stick kale in here. Also 0 germination. And it really could be that it's just been so hot. Underneath, I have some pawpaw seed that I am trying to grow, and I have been told from what I read it could take 3 or 4 months for it to come up, so I just keep sprinkling the top with water and try to keep in the shade. Then I have betel, which is here, which will be planted out. Betel, we can also use the leaves in the same way. Wrap them, make a wrap. We use them in different dishes too. You can slice them up and I think you can just slice them up and stir fry them. So I'm excited to get those. We took those cuttings from Mom, so I was letting them get some good roots on before I planted them out. And then that's a bunch of nothing over there. And here is my African blue basil propagation attempt. Half of them did good, and it looks like probably the snails and the rain took out some of them, but that's okay. I still ended up with a great number of them just off of plants I was cutting back, and so I'm okay. They could all use some fertilizer, really is what everybody over here needs a little bit of. I have decided this is going to be, since this is Propagation Nation, Propagation Alley and Seed Starting Alley, and so I have a seed rack, a little mini greenhouse. Now that this has been cleaned out, I'm gonna figure a way to put it in there and put some shade over it, maybe for this time of year for the things I need to do for fall. And then in the winter, it gets lots of sun most of the day, and so I think that'll be okay. We'll figure it out. If not, maybe it'll be right here. But again, I'd like it to be a land of 9,996 projects. So I could probably name off all 10,000. I don't know if it's really 10,000, but it's a lot. It is a lot. Our bamboo is doing really well now in the pot. I don't think it's gone through the ground. This is a clumping bamboo, and I am growing it for utility so that I can take these and make stakes or make trellises or whatever. So that is my goal for this bamboo. We've got mulberry here in a pot. It needs to be cut back so that it can make more lower shoots. I really want to try, these taste good too, but they're tiny too. I really want to try doing some more propagation with that. Here we have Guyland, and when it was a seedling, it wasn't getting nibbled on too much. Now that it's bigger, The snails are enjoying it. I had hoped that the garlic chives that I planted in between would discourage the snails, but so far it has, only at the very beginning, we weren't seeing much snail damage. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I may put myself another beer trap in here. That's what I might do today. Mrs. Michelle has a beer, I'll get some of that. So the comfrey we dug up before is still sitting here. We're gonna get that transplanted eventually. More of cleanup. We got these logs cleaned up, which you may or may not have even paid attention to them, but I had the top of that tree taken out, and it just took a long time to get this finished up. The tree company came back and took care of that and made sure those were stacked up as nicely as they could be. So I'm grateful for that. This is going to be a future, now project number 909,050, I don't know. I'm changing my compost, and so compost is going to be in this area. I didn't realize there was that much log that would go quite that far. I don't know what I thought, but at any rate, compost will go around here. We'll still have room for a mower to get through and start the compost about where that other one is back there, and just start working this way and build our first bin and our second bin and our third bin so we can have a good compost system. And this is Orchard Row, and this year we have more consistent watering. We had fertilization, which I know you're like, of course you did, Michelle. No, in years past, it's sort of been hit and miss with that. And I have to tell you, I am so happy, because look, and also these trees are 4 or 5 years old now, so they've also had a little time to get settled, but they've been in this bed for 2 years. And I've got, I think this is lemons. We've got 10 or more there. And then this, I believe, is a navel orange, I think. Could be a Myers lemon. We'll find out when they come on. But this has a good bit, and it's all on this side, on the side the sun gets. So I know that says lemon there. Someone said, well, it's probably a lemon. You got the sign that says lemon there. It's possible. It's also possible it was on that tree. So the blueberries, that one's looking pretty sad. We planted a lot of native flowers in between. One, it gives us a beautiful view from the porch. I mean, it just looks so lovely with all the color. And two, just to bring some more pollinators to the yard and pollinators back here to our fruit. So we did manage to move some of the plants. I had hoped to have the dragon fruit project 9,949 moved before now, but I didn't. But we did at least get all this put back here. So these are our different blackberries, some other miscellaneous trees. I've got a Vietnamese pomegranate there. Looks like some lemongrass might be growing out of it. We've got avocado down here from the compost. So progress, progress, progress. And more comfrey that I dug up. So we're going to be splitting that up and moving it around as well. On this side of Orchard Row, back here, the grapevine is just going fun. It's fun. It's looking good. It's in a bag. We got a few more grapes on. I'm excited about that. Maybe I should pull the grapes off and not let it make grapes this year, but you know, whatever. We've got loquat. We've got a pawpaw, kaffir lime. We've got a calamandan here, I believe. Oh no, that's the key lime. Then we have an orange tree. There is the calamandan, and there is the lime. I'm trying to remember the name of that lime, but I don't remember off the top of my head. And then a second or a third grapevine. Now the reason I have 3 grapevines is because this variety requires a male and a female. So when I ordered them, I think I ordered 3 females and 1 male. I think that's the ratio you need. My other female, one of my female fries, did not make it, but the male did. I believe I put the male in the middle, if I remember correctly, which seemed like a smart thing to do. So, and that says female. Then our elderberry has elderberries now. Elderberries. I am not yet versed in how to use and cook elderberries, but I always wanted one. And so I have one. And I think what I'll have to do is probably prune this tree back down lower, because I'm not getting up on a ladder to collect all that. And for now, the birds can enjoy it. and that just brings the birds to the yard, but I didn't realize until just now how many elderberry were up there. So very exciting. Let's see, we got more blueberry in here. The blueberry just looks terrible. It has been abused and abandoned and poorly treated and forgotten. And so it's trying. It's doing its best. It's doing its best. We have a very sickly looking Myers lemon here. Keep an eye on that. And then whatever this is, there's lots of them. So also beautiful. Probably should have pruned those or thinned those. Probably could use some more fertilizer at this point. I see the yellow, the leaves are yellow. This also, now this is interesting. What I planted here before also did this. So I wonder if there's something going on with the soil right here. This is a, what was this one? This is a Meyer lemon. And so it was in a bucket for a long time, but golly, it's not looking so lovely. So I wonder if there's just something right here in the soil that is not as good, because I lost the last one. I thought it was due to abuse, which it partially is, but it's got water, you know. So here we have a pomegranate. This is just a regular pomegranate. I don't know the variety on this one. We have never had fruit from it, but it hasn't been taken care of until this year. It's just sat in a bucket forever. So there's that. If you were thinking about a bird feeder where you can watch the birds, my first tip for you is do not strap it to a tree, even though they give you a strap, because I'm looking to see if it was going to fly through the creek. Hopefully y'all could hear that. Sounded like a hawk, an ES, probably a baby. EYAS is what they call them, I've learned. It's a baby hawk. But against the tree, this has been a squirrel feeder, which isn't terrible, except they have chewed it to bits and have tried to get this open thinking there was something inside. And so they've broken this. They've broken the antenna off, which is how it sends its signal. And so don't put it on a tree, and do put up a baffle. Otherwise, you're not gonna get to see birds. You're just gonna see squirrel butt, a lot of squirrel butt. The wildflowers are having to outcompete this stuff that also came out of bird seed, which we can't control, so we just try to enjoy the yellow and let it go. But this is our wildflower patch, and I put a bunch of native seed out there, and so time will tell what happens with that. I did it a few months ago, but it's going to take time because it really should have been in the fall and let it overwinter. Up here, believe it or not, there's a little mini pond in there that the birds and squirrels find. I need to cut some of that back and clean it. But this is the one I have to brag about right here, is this is our giant ironweed. And the birds, the hummingbirds, the butterflies, they all love it. They all absolutely love it. And yesterday I could see a giant swallowtail in here, just huge, flitting around on all that. And then when it goes to seed, my understanding is that the birds like to come in here and take the seeds off. So I'm really excited to have that next to the bird feeder, though I didn't really think about how tall it would be in relationship to the rest of this sort of bed. And so the bed used to be really small, just this area, and I just keep expanding it and just saying, let's just have wildflowers all the way to the creek. Seemed like a good plan at the time. Now, if we come around this way, this is the future cucumber condo, and you may wonder why I haven't started it up yet. And there is a video coming out about that. I have lots of videos that are about to come out, right? But I have been fighting the hummingbird vine in here, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I'll save that for the next video. But eventually we will be growing cucumbers in here. I'm pretty excited about that. I did get all of the cucumbers, the dead cucumbers, pulled out last week, and so this is all clean and ready, and pulled the trellis down. When I was talking about the garden grid earlier, this is the kind of watering device I was referring to. And so it's designed, it has holes around all the insides, so the entire square gets watered pretty evenly. I haven't had the water on this bed in a minute, and so the comfrey here I put in the middle is not looking happy, but it'll be fine. It'll reach down and find some find some love. Of course, I do have one eggplant here that probably could use some water. So it's really funny, like they keep forecasting rain and forecasting rain and forecasting rain, and then we get a drizzle here and we watch it just go all around us. I don't know if it's the microclimate with the trees. I mean, we were under an aerial flood warning, which means that my creek will probably come out of its banks and water will be all the way up to the edge of the flowers. That's usually what happens. But this season we've had 4 or 5 of those warnings, and we just haven't had the rain here at this location, but across town they've had the rain. And so I just don't know if there's something about the microclimate here. We've got all this acreage of woods around us and over by the rivers and stuff that it's just not happening. But it's very interesting. So it's a challenge in trying to water enough but not water too much. Look at these. Wow. This is a Cataly guava, and we're waiting for them to ripen. This is a delicious fruit. We'll have a nice harvest. I might actually be able to make something this time with these. Wow. This will be our biggest harvest we've ever had of these. Now, I blame the fact that, again, they're being cared for. Now, I've not fertilized them, but what happens as I water the bed, the water seeps down and then it will slowly go to the ground and it will fall this way also when it rains. This is on the slope, so it's getting some of that rainfall from both houses here. So that's good. Let's sneak back in here. This bed had tomatoes and peppers in it, and we collected peppers and collected peppers and collected peppers. It was beautiful. I absolutely got my money's worth for my starts. Now I can see I have some more peppers on now. So this one's starting to put some on. Another pepper in there. I threw another roselle in this, and this is an African blue basil that just has gone wild. Again, more reset to do. That's the joy of July. The joy of July in Florida is getting ready to start the next garden. There is very little rest. There's very little rest if you want to have a garden in Florida, because you got to get started on things. And so this basil has done really well here. This is the everleaf Thai basil. I've been doing a taste test with the family on the different varieties, and so everybody likes that one. It's a little anisey, but it's not bad. More of the Cataly guava. And then over here, I have learned something new in this bed. So you saw the okra on the other side. It's getting very little sun. It's on the edge of the bed, so it's not getting a whole lot of water in the one bed or the other bed, really. But this one's not doing as well. Now, those all had new soil. This did not. But I think it's because I've been overwatering this bed. And I've taken a lot of things out. I was trying to give it plenty of water for this. And so here's one of the times that while the garden grid is great, it's a great example of putting the wrong plants in the wrong place. And that's just gardening, right? Putting the right things in the right places. So I think I have been overwatering the okra, and I think I have been overwatering even the eggplant. And the eggplant did not get any fertilizer this year, and so it needed that because I was trying to give some water to this. But here's the funny thing too about the bottle gourd. So far we have only had 2 pollinated female flowers and lots and lots of male flowers. We've had male flowers on for more than a month. And again, it could be the stress and the heat of everything. The bottle gourd is not taking the heat as well as the Lofah has. And so we gave those first 2 bottle gourd to Mom, but that was more than a week ago. And we have not had, I've only seen one other female flower. It was here. I guess it fell off now. Oh, maybe that might have been one, but nothing else growing yet here. Very interesting. I'm going to give this some fertilizer. I'm going to give this bed some balanced fertilizer, maybe even some Grow Big if it's an organic one. I think I have some Grow Big that's organic, I think. Corn is looking pretty good though. Come around here. The corn did get new soil this year. And so I actually see like here a little one. And the other day it was really funny. I had my phone out here and I was leaning in to take a picture and I pulled it out and I knocked the corn pollen off. And so there was corn pollen all over my phone. I was trying to sweep it onto the tassels because I don't want to waste it. It's all precious. It's all precious. But at least it made it better than knee high by the 4th of July in spite of everything. Now, the other thing, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. We have been eating figs and saving figs and harvesting figs from the breva, which I just learned about not too long ago. Let me turn this around. Apparently the breva is the first flush of figs and it grows on the old wood before the new wood puts on figs. And so you can see the difference in old wood or new wood. So this is new wood. See how it's nice and green? It's got a lot of figs that aren't ripe, but look at this one. Look at that beauty. And what's really nice is right at the end, we probably harvested, I don't know, geez, I harvested 8 pounds in one day. We have probably harvested 15 or more pounds of figs already, shared, put away and stuff. But right at the end, when they were really, really, really doing well, we had rain day after day after day, and the figs just aren't as good. And so we tried dehydrating them. That wasn't fun. Not for this size figs. Maybe if we had had bigger figs, it would have been better. It was 24 hours of dehydrating for fig jerky. It just wasn't, I wouldn't spend my energy doing that again. I would rather just freeze them and pull them out later to use them. So, I got to come out here and pick some figs. It's been a couple of weeks since we picked any consistently, so that's nice to see summer coming in. Then over here in the fig tree, there was a bird's nest. I don't know if it ever had any birds in it or what happened or if they're already long gone. This will be the first time I've ever put the camera up here, so you guys are getting the first look. We'll see what's in the bird's nest. We'll talk about it when I do my edit and see what it was. So I would say that pruning this fig tree was a big success this year. I mean, we've always had gotten figs from it, but never like this. Never like this. Now, granted, it's a little bit older. Probably had just a little bit more water at the beginning of the season because of the rain, maybe. I don't know. No, we didn't. It was dry. April was dry. We didn't have a bunch of rain in April. I forgot. We did not have a bunch of rain. So, at any rate, she's looking lovely, and we're still eating off of this regularly. And I'm going to start learning how to propagate this too. Now, this garden bed, I cut back out all of the, what do we have in here? It is a, shoot, spiderwort. Spiderwort grew in here natively, just came and showed up. And so I cut all that back, and we're going to disassemble this bed and move it. But I had my yard guy take the weed whacker and cut back everything we could. And so this one sat fallow for a year. And now we're going to move it, and I'm probably just going to end up leaving the soil here and not try to move the soil too, I don't think. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Then here we have persimmon. I called something else a persimmon earlier. It was not. It was a pomegranate. These are the persimmons up front here. And usually we start harvesting them in December or January, so it looks like we're right on track. I didn't thin them out. Maybe I should have, but it thins a lot itself, and so it doesn't really look overburdened too much. So that is okay. And then we have one more fig tree here. And I don't see, oh, I see a little bit of fruit on. Oh, yep, there we go. We got more fruit. We got a good bit of fruit off of this one as well, even though it's not as large. And I think these were planted a year apart, I believe. About a year apart. Oh, here's another one I shouldn't leave up here. This just needs to be eaten. It's just too perfect. It's just too perfect to leave it. Just too perfect. So good. So good. So, we've got our first wing beans. Look at here. Our first little wing bean is right there. If you haven't seen the wing beans before, you should check out that video. They are delicious. If you're somewhere hot, they're easy to grow. I started testing out this string here to see if I could get them to grow across the string. And they don't seem to want to. They want to go up and up and up. And so what's funny about that is I tried to get them to go up these pipes last year and I just could not accomplish it. So maybe just having that little bit of string at the bottom was helpful for that. But there it goes, all the way up. In the middle we have some basil. We did have corn in here that was a volunteer. That's out now. So very excited. I had 100% germination for my wing beans. 100%. So hope there's another one there too. Little baby. I will pick those when they're about 3 or 4 inches long. Use them in salads and stir fries. They are delicious. Hey Moose. Hi. You come to visit? You come to say hi? Hi. You gonna let me pet you this morning? Hi, good morning. You wanna be in the meadow too? Do you want your own? Huh, you gonna be moose in the meadow? Moose in the meadow? I know, it's not your other mama with a bunch of treats up front. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint you. Yeah. Yeah. You want to say hi for everybody? Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Nope, we're done. You know, with cats, you gotta take the love you can. I shared this on a post. We lost our boy that we've had the longest last week, and so I've kind of been in a funk. I haven't been up for making a video, and so it felt good today to get out here and get sweaty and get some things done. And I was like, I already got the camera. Let's just go make this garden tour. Let's buck up, Michelle. Just go do it. Handle it. Then there'll be 9,949 projects left to do. Oh, let's take a look at the front garden up here. Mrs. Michelle wanted some color up front, things that didn't look too weedy. Now, I put the sweet potato vine in so that we could have some nice ground cover here while everything grows in. I have been keeping it trimmed back some. I know that the blue days will get a little taller, the pentas will get a little taller, and it'll fight above the sweet potato, but it's been kind of nice because it looks nice and full, and so I think it looks really good. Just needs a little trim. But oh, I got to show y'all something. This was fascinating, and it's called fasciation. So this vine that's growing out right here has some kind of a mutation, and it has gone from being a little round vine here. As it grows out, it's flat, and it looks like a ribbon or an electrical cord, not a flat vine like you normally see. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a mutation of some kind. Don't know why it grows like that. It doesn't hurt sweet potatoes, though. I'm not really trying to grow sweet potatoes up here. I'm just trying to grow vines. Birds eat up in here, the dogs come up in here, the cats come up in here. So this is not a food bed. It is strictly for show. And so, in fact, I need to put a little more nitrogen on here. I throw coffee out here just to encourage more of the green growth and not trying to do anything to encourage the roots. Speaking of projects, so I made a video about this rain barrel that's right up front here, and the fact that I bought a short hose to use to fill my bucket. And so I just thought it was really cool to have this nice short leader hose I could fill my bucket. And everybody is not harassing is not true. They're like, why in the world would you put the spigot so high? Well, for this one, I didn't. That's where it came, on the rain barrel, and it's easy for me to fill a bucket. There is another spigot there, but it's too low for me to get the hose on. And so what I'm going to do is, I have some more of these bricks. This is project number 9,900 whatever at this point, but and raise it up and maybe move it up a couple of bits. When I do that, that may mean I think I can go one level without needing to change the gutter. But if I take 2 levels of bricks up, I'll probably have to change the gutter. Oh look, there's Project 10,001 hibiscus that didn't get planted that I bought on sale, which I broke my own rule on not planting in 24 hours. But it has been so hot, I've just been keeping them up here and watered so much. All right. And this is another project. I have plans to put a tree surround like I have around the mailbox on this. And so those are where I'll get those bricks. I don't have to buy any more. I already have them out in the yard because I think this will look a lot nicer. This never settled in well. I didn't do a good job because I'm learning, still learning. So, and that brings us all the way back around, y'all. So we had a 360-degree tour today. And now I can stand in the bananas for a second. And thank you for staying to this point. I love being able to share the garden. Thank you for letting me share some of the authentic things that are happening in my life with my knee and my back and the cat. And oh my, I did not plan to have so much drama in this one, but progress is being made. I appreciate your support. I've had some messages checking on me. Thank you for that very, very much. So tell me, what's growing on in your garden right now? I would love to know. And be sure to check out this video right over here to see more projects and things that are happening here in the meadow. Until next time, my friends, remember to drink plenty of water, wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day. Probably should have fixed my hair before I did the ending, huh? Bye, y'all.